So let us solve that question. We have a resistor, a capacitor, and an AC source. This AC source, the AC source is 200 volts, having frequency 50 by pi hertz. Normally frequency is 50 hertz, but here I'm giving 50 by pi hertz because it will make the calculation easier. This resistance is given to be 4 ohm, and suppose this capacitance is given to be 4 millifarad. Okay, question is find current, second phase difference between current and voltage, third is voltage across resistor, voltage across resistor and capacitor, fourth is power dissipated in the circuit, power dissipated in the circuit. Okay, so that's the question. Now yeah, so let me solve this. This is a very simple question because yesterday only we learned how to solve RC circuit. So now let me solve it. Let me draw that circuit once more. So here you have this resistance, and here you have this capacitance, and here you have this AC source. The first thing I will do is I will find, even though capacitance is given, but capacitance is not of any use. It is the capacitive reactance which is of use. So capacitive reactance, which we represent with the symbol XC, you know, it is 1 by omega C. Yesterday only we had learned. Now is omega given? Omega is 2 pi f. Okay, frequency is given, and of course C is also given. So let's do this calculation. So 1 by 2 pi into, okay, frequency was how much? C. If it was 50, then the calculation would have been a little more cumbersome. So to eliminate this pi, frequency is given to be 50 by pi hertz, even though it is not practical, because practically I have already told you in real life, frequency of the world of the AC throughout the world is 50 hertz, or in some countries 60 hertz. But here it is given to be 50 by pi hertz because that will make our calculation a little easier. And then capacitance is 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 farad, 4 millifarad. No? So this will get cancelled, and then you'll have 1 by 100 into 4 into 10 to the power minus 5, sorry, minus 3. Okay, so that will be how much? 10 by 4. I hope I'm correct. Yeah, 10 by 4, which is equal to 5 by 2, which is equal to 2.5. So 2.5 watt. What will be the unit? This unit will be ohm. Okay, calculation seems to be correct. Yeah, so that's it. So now here in this over here, I will write this resistance to be 4 ohm because that was given to be 4 ohm. And instead of writing this to be 4 millifarad, because that 4 millifarad capacitance is not of much use, so I will write 2.5 ohm because that's the capacitive reactance. Okay, and this source voltage is given to be 200 volts, so I will write like this. Okay, or rather I will use a slightly different color. So 200 volts was this. Now how much will be the current? Well, don't show the arrow because in this diagram, whatever values we are showing only the RMS values. So this, and voltage across resistor, VR, voltage across capacitor, VC. You know, now actually, if this was an exam and the question was find current, I would have instantly found current like this. I would have said that impedance is root over R square plus X square. In fact, here also I will do it this way only. Don't worry. Here also I'll do it this way only. So let's find impedance. So 4 square by 5 by 2 square. I mean, this is 5 by 2 only. So root over 16 plus 25 by 4. So that's 64. 64 plus 25 is how much? It's 89. So root over 89 by 4. That means root 89 by 2. Because this 4 will come outside this root and it will become 2. So this is your impedance and this will be again in ohm. Fine. Now current, this RMS current is equal to RMS voltage divided by impedance. This RMS voltage is 200 volts and impedance just now we found it is root 89 by 2 ohm. So this will be 400 by root 89 ampere. These are all RMS values. Okay, everything we are getting are RMS values only, and we have to give the answer in terms of RMS only. Yeah. So we are able to find the current. Current came out to be how much? Current came out to be this much. Now next we have to find phase difference between this current and this voltage. When they say phase difference between current and voltage, which voltage he is talking about? He's talking about the source voltage, and this is the source voltage. So for that we need to draw phasor diagram. Now again we can use formula, but phasor diagram is of utmost importance. Maximum importance is phasor diagram. So we should draw phasor diagram. Even though sometimes, you know, we can solve the problems without drawing phasor, but we should always draw phasor diagram. So first phasor, which phasor we draw as the first phasor? Always current phasor is drawn as the first phasor. Every other phasor is drawn relative to the current phasor. So this is current phasor. Now we will concentrate on the resistor, and we know that voltage across resistor and current through resistor are in the same direction because they have no phase difference. So then now we will draw this as VR phasor. This is voltage across resistor. And is there any relation between this VR and current? Of course there is a relation. VR is I into R, Ohm's law. And now voltage across capacitor. Let's focus on the capacitor. Voltage across capacitor, which is VC, and current through capacitor, they are not in the same phase. VC is behind the current. So this is the current. Relative to this current, voltage across capacitor is behind. So this is the VC phasor. Okay. This is the VC phasor. Is there any relation between this VC phasor and this current phasor? Is there any relation between this voltage and this current? Of course, there is a relation. VC is I into XC. Now, if this voltage and this voltage are added, okay, let me show you. If this voltage and this voltage, are added, we should get this voltage. So, if we add these two voltages, we will get the source voltage. So this is the source voltage. Okay, so source voltage we can write simply capital V, or if you want to become more specific, you can write source also in the subscript. Now this is the angle, which is the phase difference between the current and source voltage between these two. So this is the angle, and that angle is phi. So how will we find this phi? Well, tan phi in this triangle, tan phi will be this perpendicular by this base. Now this perpendicular is nothing but VC, and this base is nothing but VR. You see in this triangle. Clear? So tan phi is equal to VC by VR. Now VC is I into XC, and VR is I into R. I got cancelled out, so XC by R. Okay, so what is the value of XC, by the way? XC was 5 by 2, wasn't it? Or 2.5, and R was 4. So from here we get phi is equal to tan inverse of 5 by 8. So this is the phase difference between, yeah. So this is the phase difference between voltage and current. Which one is leading, which one is lagging? You can see it's all clear in the diagram. The source voltage is lagging behind the current, okay, or current is leading the source voltage. So source voltage is lagging behind the current by how much angle? By this much angle, tan inverse of 5/8. So this is the answer as far as the second part is concerned. Now let's read the third part. Now you have to find voltage across resistor and capacitor. In other words, you have to find how much is this VR and how much is this VC. Very simple, very simple. Can anybody suggest me how to do? Can anybody suggest me how to find voltage across resistor? Come on, show me your talent. Nobody wants to show your talent? You should, yeah. Do we know this current now or not? Do we know the current or not? Yes, sir, we know the current. See, this is the current. See, we know the current. Well, if you know the current, if you know this current, then this voltage will be I into R. I into R. And what about this voltage? At least now tell me. Okay, I into XC. Isn't it? So that's it. So let me do that. So voltage across resistor, that means VR is I into R. Now I was 400 root 89 we had calculated. How had we calculated I? By using V by Z, source voltage by impedance, and impedance was root over R square plus XC square. You see, this was all done above right now. I mean, just few minutes back. So this was I, and the R is given to be 4 ohm. So this will be 1600 by root 89 volts. And then what about voltage across capacitor? Voltage across capacitor, VC, it will be I into XC. I is 400 by root 89. And then XC was 5/2. You remember that? Or 2.5. So that will be how much? That will be 1000 by root 89 volts. Is that correct? Yeah. This is also done. Now let me go back and see what was the next part. Yeah. So we are able to find the current. Done. We are able to find phase difference between current and voltage. Done. We are able to find voltage across resistor and capacitor. Done. Now we have to find power dissipated in the circuit. Now this will be slightly new to you. So for that, let me just copy this diagram because I don't want to scroll too much up and down. That spoils the rhythm of the class. So power dissipated. Now this is something new. Okay. So again, please pay attention. Since in any AC circuit, on an average, when we say find power, we mean to say find average power. Okay. In AC circuit, power actually means average power. Okay, always power means average power. Now on an average, capacitor does not consume any power. even inductor, even though there is no inductor in this circuit, but even inductor will not consume any power. Whatever is the power consumed, that will be only in the resistor. So from here heat will come out in all directions because power will be consumed. Okay. Okay. In AC circuit, the capacitor and inductor does not consume any power. Does not consume any power on an average. Okay, I'll come back to this later once more. I'll come back to this part later once more, and I'll also show you why capacitor and inductor does not consume any power on an average. Okay, but that why is not so important because frankly nobody is going to ask you why. Okay, you should know that in AC circuit, first of all, power always means average power. Second thing is that capacitor and inductor does not consume any power. So whatever is the power consumed, that is only in the resistor. So power is consumed only in the resistor. Power is consumed only in the resistor. Okay, this is a very important statement. Let me highlight this statement. Power is consumed only in the resistor. Okay, let me put some star marks over there. Power is consumed only in the resistor. Okay, now what is power consumed in the resistor? Well, for that we have a world famous formula. Everybody knows it, I square R. Power consumed in the resistor, power consumed in resistor or by resistor is I square. Of course, which current you will take? You will take RMS current, okay, into R. Here I am writing RMS just because I want to highlight that this is RMS current. Actually, I should not have written RMS. I should have simply written I square R because I'm using capital letters. So by default, it is RMS current. But this time I want to emphasize on the fact that this is RMS current. So I am using RMS. Or you can simply say capital R square by R. Now, have we found the value of capital I? Of course, man, we have found. In fact, that was the first thing we did. The first thing we did was we found the value of the current. First was we found impedance. We divided impedance. We divided voltage by the impedance. This source voltage by the impedance. You got the current. So that current 400 by root 89. I'm going to use here. So 400 by root 89. Of course, it's square. And then R. How much is the resistance given? Well, that's 4 ohm. Okay, resistance is given to be 4 ohm. So that's it. 16 0 0 0 0. 2 0 are there, but we are going to square it into 4 divided by 89, and this will be the watt because this is power. Okay, so you can write it as 640 by 89 kilowatt if you want in terms of kilowatt, because 30 you can remove and you can bring it in kilowatt. So 160 into 4 is 640. Okay, so this is the answer. So what is power consumed? Now this is new thing for you. Everything else till before this, everything else we had already covered yesterday, but yesterday we did not cover power. So today we are covering power. But this power, I will come back to it once more. I show this to you separately. Okay, so this is done. So now that was which circuit? That was RC circuit. Now it's time for LR circuit. But you know, LR circuit and LCR circuit, they all will be exactly same. The only one circuit you had to know, and now you have learned that circuit. That circuit is RC circuit. Everything else will be very similar. So now we are looking at LR circuit, and I will not spend any time in it because it's very monotonous now. You will yourself understand what I'm saying. So suppose there is a resistor and there is an inductor connected to an AC source. Connected to an AC source. The voltage across this, the source voltage is capital V. The voltage across resistor is capital VR. The voltage across inductor is capital VL. And the current in the circuit is I. Okay, everything is RMS values. Now, in terms of RMS values, can we say VR plus VL is equal to V by applying KVL? Can we say this voltage drop plus this voltage drop is equal to this voltage gain? Well, we can't. In terms of RMS values, we can't. In terms of instantaneous values, yes. If these were instantaneous values, then we would have been able to say this, but not in terms of RMS values. Nothing new. Okay, nothing new. So this is there is an inequality here. This is not equal. Nothing new, because even yesterday in RC circuit also it was not true. So to find relation between VR, VL and V, that means this voltage, and this voltage, we need to take help of phasor diagram. So let's do that. To find relation between voltage across resistor, voltage across inductor, and the source voltage, we need to draw phasor diagram. When we draw phasor diagram, what is the first phasor we draw? First phasor is always current phasor. So let's draw this current phasor as our horizontal phasor. So this is the current phasor. Okay. Its length is equal to the RMS value. Even though you can draw a phasor where the length is equal to peak value, even that is allowed. But since in AC, RMS is more important than peak, so we tend to draw phasor diagram. We always draw phasor diagram in terms of RMS values. Okay, now let's focus on the resistor. Do we know that voltage across resistor and current through resistor are in same phase? Absolutely. So VR phasor will be in the same direction as current phasor. So this is your VR phasor. And what will be the value of this length? It will be this length into R. Okay, so I into R, Ohm's law, you can say. Now let's focus on the inductor. Do you know current through inductor? By the way, the same current will pass through inductor also. So do you know current through inductor and voltage across inductor are not in same phase? In fact, voltage across inductor leads the current by 90 degree, leads, not lags behind. Okay, lags behind is true for for capacitive circuit, but not for inductive. So here VL with respect to current, VL phasor will be 90 degree above, because voltage across inductor leads current. Okay, and what will be the relation between this magnitude and this magnitude, this current and this voltage? Simple. VL is equal to I into XL. I into XL, isn't it? Now we can add this voltage and this voltage. We can't add this with this. It is not possible, because this is current and this is voltage. You can't add current with the voltage, but you can always add voltage with the voltage. So if we add this voltage and this voltage, vectorially you will get this voltage, not scalarly, not like just like numbers, not like 2 + 2 4. That we have already written, that 2 plus 2 is not 4. So if this is 2, then this is not 4. Or if this is 2 and this is 3, then this is not 5. However, vectorially, if this is 2 and this is 3, then vectorially, this is equal to this plus this. So vectorially, if you add this and this, you should get the source voltage. So let us add them. So this is going to be our source voltage. Okay. This is going to be our source voltage. Source voltage we represent with the symbol capital T. Okay. So what do we get? From phasor diagram, we see that this capital V square is equal to VR square plus VL square. This square plus this square. Now this is the relation. You see, this plus this is not equal to this, but instead this square plus this square is equal to this square. You see? So let me put it inside a box. Yeah. Now, so this V is equal to root over of VR square plus VC square. So for VR, I'm going to write I into R. And for VL, sorry, VC, not VC, VL. By mistake, I think I had said VC sometimes. Like this. Now I can be taken common. So root over R square plus XL square. You know what is this called? This is called impedance. So this is not new. As I had already told you, everything will be very repetitive. So this is called impedance. Called impedance, capital Z, of circuit. So you can say that we are getting V is equal to I into Z, or rather we are getting I is equal to V by Z. Okay. So how to find this current? How to find the current? Well, in the question, the value of R will already be given to you. Let's say 4 ohm. The value of inductance will be given to you. Let's say 4 millihenry. Now, this 4 millihenry is not of much use. Of course, it is of use, but you have to first find XL. You know what is XL? I mean, of course, it is called inductive reactance. X for reactance, L for inductive. But what is the value of it? Is it 1 by omega into L? No. It is simply omega into L. This time 1 by doesn't come. It is 1 by comes only in capacitor. So XC was 1 by omega into C, but not XL. XL is simply omega L. So this L will be given, multiply it with omega, you will get XL. Once you get XL, you will get impedance first. Impedance is root over R square plus XL square. Just now we derived. Once you get impedance, you can say that you have got total resistance of the circuit, even though impedance is not resistance, but you can think like this. You can think that you have got the total resistance of the circuit. Now the voltage was already given. So finding current is very easy. Current is equal to voltage by impedance. And that way you will be able to find the current. See how simple and same monotonous job we are doing all the time. Same task. So nothing new. Okay. So we have got this. Now one thing is left about whether this voltage, the source voltage and the current, are they in the same phase? Are they in the same phase? Let's look at the phasor diagram. Where is the current? Where is the current in this? This is the current. And where is the source voltage? This is the source voltage. Are they in the same direction? No, they are not in the same direction. Okay. So let this angle be some phi. We have to find that phi. So how to find that phi? Well, in this triangle. Okay. So now phase difference between voltage and current. When I say simply capital V, it means which voltage? Source voltage. You can write V source if you want. You can write source in the subscript, but we don't really write. We just write capital V. Everybody understands that we are talking about source voltage. So in this triangle, what will be tan phi equal to? In this triangle, tan of phi will be equal to this by this. Now this is what, how much? This is same as this, which is VL, and this is how much? This is VR. You see, so tan phi is equal to VL by VR. Now VL was I into XL and VR was I into R. So you get XL by R. So from here we get phi is equal to tan inverse of XL by R. Okay. Now here I want to copy this diagram because I want to now write in terms of instantaneous values. Now finally I want to write in terms of instantaneous values. So yeah, let me get rid of these things. Okay, now suppose source voltage is small v, this source voltage is small v is equal to V naught sine omega t. Then current in the circuit will be how much? Current in the circuit will be, in terms of instantaneous values, it will be how much? It will be I naught sine of omega t. Will it remain simply omega t? Will it? Will the, now here I am showing arrow. Why? Because this is instantaneous. Here I am also showing plus minus because this is instantaneous. You see small letter. So what about this current? Will it be I not simply sine omega t, or will there be something else? So for that, let us go to the phasor diagram and see. See, here is the phasor diagram. In fact, I'll do one thing. I'll copy this phasor diagram so that I don't have to scroll too much, and I'll paste it here.
So can you please scroll up a little?
Yeah, I will. So tell me, this is the phasor diagram. Yeah. Current. So let's see. See, this is the voltage phasor. This is the current phasor. Are they in the same phase? No. Which one is leading? Voltage is leading. Which one is lagging? Current is lagging. Now, you won't be able to memorize all these things. That's why phasor diagram is so important. So current is behind the voltage by how much angle? By phi. So if voltage phase angle was omega t, if the phase angle of voltage is omega t, then the phase angle of current will not be omega t, rather it will be omega t
plus phi.
Plus phi. Seriously. Check again. Check again. Where is current? This is current. Where is source voltage? This is source voltage. Is current phase angle smaller than voltage? This way it is smaller, na? That way it would have been bigger. Huh? Anti-clockwise angle is taken positive, and this direction angle is taken negative only. No? So relative to this voltage, current is lagging or leading? Relative to this voltage, current is lagging. If current was somewhere over here, then we would have said that relative to this voltage, current is leading. But that's not the fact. The fact is current is behind the voltage. So if voltage phase angle is omega t, then current phase angle will be omega t minus phi. Now here, how much is I naught? I naught is V naught by Z. So if this is V naught for voltage, then by Z. And how much is phi? Phi is tan inverse of XL by R that we have already done. Any problem? Okay, one last thing. How much is the power dissipated in the circuit? How much will be power dissipated in the circuit? Power dissipated. In circuit. Now, you know, very recently, just 15 minutes back, I had told you that power in AC chapter, power is dissipated only in the resistor, not in the inductor, not in the capacitor. So here, current is flowing this way as well as this way. So you may say that some power is generated here and some power is generated here, but no power is generated here or dissipated here. Only in the resistor power is dissipated. So how much will be power dissipated in the circuit? Simple. I square R, which I? RMS. And which, is it instantaneous power? No, not at all, not at all. In AC chapter, whenever we say power, it is average power. Okay, anyway. So power is dissipated only in the resistor. Power is dissipated only in the resistor. Okay, so that's it. Let me move on to the next page now. Now finally we will study LCR circuit, which is just the combination. I mean, not really the so different. It's all same. It's all same. So now we are studying LCR circuit. But maximum questions will be asked from LCR only. But don't think that this is different from the previous thing. It is all same. So let me draw that. So here you have a resistor. Here you have a capacitor. Here you have an inductor. Now the order is not important, even though I'm showing RCL, but you can show inductor first, and then, you know, the order is not important. They are in series basically, and then connected to an AC circuit. So this is the AC source. Okay. Now which voltages, which values will I show? Only RMS values. So RMS voltage applied is V. RMS current is I. Okay. Now voltage across resistor is VR. These are all capital letters. Voltage across capacitor is VC. Voltage across inductor is VL. Okay. In terms of RMS values, can we say this voltage drop plus this voltage drop plus this voltage drop is equal to this voltage gain?
No, sir.
Yeah. So we can't say that. So VR plus VL plus VC is equal to V is not true. because these are RMS values, which are basically a type of average. However, if these were instantaneous values, that means if these were small letters, then this will be true. So small VR plus small VL plus small VC will be equal to small v, where small v is this source voltage. But we never talk in terms of instantaneous values. We only talk in terms of RMS values. So that is why we can't say that. Okay. Now what? Yeah. Now, what is the relation between these three? So normally when I ask this student, if the student have not yet studied, like you people have not yet studied, then normally students will say, okay, sir, just like last time, it will VR square plus VL square plus VC square will be equal to V square. It used to be no, like last time. But we will see just now that even this is not true. We will see with the help of phasor diagram that even this is not true. So let's draw phasor diagram. Okay. So let us draw phasor diagram. When we draw phasor diagram, which phasor should we draw first? We should always draw current phasor first. Yeah. So here I'm drawing the current phasor as my first phasor. Everything else should be drawn relative to this. Now let's focus on the resistor. Voltage across the resistor and current through the resistor are in same phase. So if this is the current phasor, then this will be the VR phasor. Okay, I will use VR phasor with a slightly different color. So this will be VR phasor, and its value will be I into R. Now let's focus on the capacitor. You know, voltage across capacitor and current through capacitor are not in same phase. In fact, voltage lags behind the current. So if this is the current phasor, then relative to this, VC phasor will be behind. VC phasor will be below. Okay. So this will be your VC phasor, and it will be I into XC, sorry. Now let's focus on inductor. Current through inductor and voltage across inductor are not in same phase. Voltage across inductor leads the current. So if this is the current phasor, then VL phasor, that means voltage across inductor, will be above it. Okay, above, leads, like this. So this will be VL phasor, and it will be equal to how much? I into XL. Now, these three voltages, this voltage, and this voltage can be added together vectorially. If we add these three voltages, what will you get? Will you get the source voltage? I think we should. Okay. If we add this voltage and this voltage and this voltage, not directly, not like 2 plus 2, 4, but vectorially, then we should get this voltage. Okay. That's what we have been getting till now. So if we add these three voltages, we should get the source voltage. But the problem is you can't add them directly. So one more step is needed. So what I'll do is I will first add these two. I will add these two because they are exact opposite to each other. So we can directly add them. When you add them, the resultant of these two will be slightly upward. Why upward? Because I have shown this phasor to be greater than this. Can you see that this length is slightly greater than this? I have deliberately drawn it. In fact, I will make it even shorter so that no chance of confusion is there. Clear? So as you can see, this phasor is greater than this. The length, you can see it is greater. So when we add these two, the result will be upward only. Okay, and how much will be this? It will be VL minus VC. Now here many students think that we are subtracting. No, sir, we are not subtracting, we are adding. It's just like this. If in terms of vector, if there is a vector of magnitude 5 here, and there is a vector of magnitude 2 here, and we are adding, not subtracting, adding. So resultant will be upward, and that will be 3. Okay. However, if suppose this vector was, let's say 9 in the downward direction and 5 in the upward direction, and we are adding, so resultant will be downward because this is bigger, and of course it will be 4. But we are adding. The point I am emphasizing upon is that we are not subtracting the vectors, we are adding them, and still you are getting 4. Okay, but we are not subtracting, we are adding. So let me come back to this. Here, if we add this vector and this vector, because this is greater, in my diagram it is greater. I could have drawn this as greater. If I had drawn this VC as greater than this, then the result would have been downward. Okay. So this is it. And this will be the VR phasor. And this is the I phasor. Now, what will be the length of VR? It will be I into R. What will be the magnitude of this? It will be I into XL minus XC. Okay. Let me show it over here. I hope it is fine. IXL and IXC. So I taken common. Now it's time to finally add these two. See, our aim was to add these three, not this, sorry. Our aim was to add this phasor, this phasor, and this phasor. So we have first added these two, and when we add these two, we get this. Now finally we will add these two. How to add these two? Well, we will create a parallelogram, and then this will be the resultant phasor. Will this resultant phasor be the source voltage? Yes, this will be the source voltage. And this angle is, let's say, angle phi. Angle phi. Now, one thing I'd like to tell you, I'd like to show you one thing. See, in this diagram, is it that voltage will always lead the current? Like in my diagram, you can clearly see that voltage is leading the current, or rather, I mean, you can also say it like this, that current is lagging behind the voltage. Is this correct? Can you see that voltage is leading the current and current is lagging behind the voltage? Can you see that or not? Yeah. However, it is not a universal fact. Like, it will not always happen. What I'm trying to say is that if this phasor was drawn bigger, just imagine that this was a bigger phasor and this was a smaller phasor. Then when you add these three vectors, or rather these two vectors, you will get something left in the denominator, and that will be VC minus VL, because this is greater than this, and this would have been VR, and the result would have been like this. So this would have been the source voltage, and of course current was like this only. So this time you can see that current is leading, or rather voltage is lagging behind the current. So whether voltage is leading or current is leading, it depends on what? It depends on whether VL is greater or VC is greater. If VL is greater, voltage will be above the current. And if VC is greater than VL, then voltage will be below. Okay. Now, whether VL is greater or VC is greater, how to decide? Well, simple. Just look at XL and XC. Because I is common, so just focus on XL and XC. If XL is greater, then that means VL will be greater. Are you getting? Sorry, XL greater than XC, I'm saying. I will anyway write all these things So I just wanted to explain this to you, and now I will write also. Okay. So from phasor diagram, what do we get? From phasor diagram, we get that V square is equal to VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. You see? You see what is the relation between these three voltages? It is not that VR square plus VC square plus VL square is equal to V square. No, it is not like that. Rather, what is the relation? The relation is VR square plus VL minus VC whole square is equal to this V square. That is what we got here. Okay. Now, so this we will be root under of VR. In place of VR, I will write I into R. In place of VL, I will write I into XL. And in place of VC, I will write I into XC. And I will be taken common. So here you will have R square plus XL minus XC whole square. This will be V. And this time this XL minus, sorry, this root under XL minus XC whole square will be called impedance. Impedance Z. Okay. So it means V is equal to I into Z, or rather I is equal to V by Z. So whatever is the circuit, current will be same V by Z all the time, but the value of Z, which is impedance, will be different for different circuits. Clear? Okay. Now, which one is leading, current or voltage? So let me write that. For that, I want to draw this diagram once more, or rather I will draw it later. So which one is leading, current or voltage? So whether V leads I or V lags behind I. This is what we are going to study. Whether voltage leads current or voltage lags behind current. This is what we are going to study. So there are three cases possible. Case one. Case one is XL greater than XC. Okay. Well, in this case, here VL will be greater than VC. So phasor diagram will be as shown. Phasor diagram will be as shown below. Now this phasor diagram is actually exactly same as this phasor diagram. So I am going to copy paste this diagram. Because even in this phasor diagram, I had taken VL greater than VC only. No? So why unnecessarily should I do the same thing twice? So this is how the phasor diagram will look like. So here, as it is clear, V leads I by how much angle? By angle phi, and tan phi will be how much? In this triangle, tan phi will be this by this. Now this is VL minus VC. So VL minus VC by VR. Now VL minus VC can be written as I into XL minus XC, and VR can be written as I into R. So you will get phi is equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC by R. Is that clear? Any problem?
No, sir.
Yeah. Now this was case 1. Now let me go to case 2. Just a second. I think this is, give me a second, please. Let me bring it to the top. Yeah. Case 2. XC greater than XL. Now, if XC is greater than XL, then here VC will be greater than VL. So this phasor diagram will completely change. Even though I have copied this phasor diagram, but actually it will be different. I will show you. I have already shown you what will be the difference. Okay, the difference will be that this arrow will be bigger. This arrow will be smaller. Any problem? No, na? Because VC is greater than VL, because XC is greater than XL. Okay. So when we add these two, these two, the result will be downward. So this will be downward, and this will be VC minus VL, and its value will be I into XC minus XL. Then VR will be in the same direction as it was here. So this will be VR, which will be I into R. And of course, I will be in the same direction as it was here. Now we have to add these two. Okay, just like this. And you will get the source voltage. So this will be the source voltage. And this will be the angle phi. So which one is leading? Here you can see that voltage is lagging behind the current. Okay. Yeah. So here voltage lags behind current. By how much angle? By angle phi. How to find this phi? Well, in this triangle, tan phi will be what? By this, this will be VC minus VL by VR. So I into XC minus XL by I into R. So I got cancelled. So you get phi is equal to tan inverse of XC minus XL divided by R. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, finally, the third case, which is actually the most interesting case. Case 3 is that what happens if they are equal. This is the most interesting case. So, case 3, XC and XL are exactly equal. Now, if it happens like this, in fact, the circuit is said to be in resonance. Okay, here the circuit, the LCR circuit is said to be in resonance. The LCR circuit is said to be in resonance in this case. Okay, how? I'll show you. So the first thing is that here VC and VL will be exactly equal, and the phasor diagram will look like what? I hope you have understood already. Already you have understood what I'm going to say. So in this phasor diagram, yeah, in this phasor diagram, these two values, sorry, let me shorten it a little bit and let me elongate it a little bit so that they come out to be exactly equal. Can you see? Yeah. Now, if they are exactly equal, then won't they cancel out? Won't they cancel out each other? Yes. So VC and VR are equal, and hence VC and VL will cancel out each other. So tell me, how will your phasor diagram look like? So these two vectors have gone completely gone. Now the result of these two is neither upward nor downward, because see, if VL was greater than VC, then result would have been upward. If VC was greater than VL, then the result would have been downward, but they are exactly equal, so neither upward nor downward. So this is VR and this is I. Now, can somebody tell me, oh my God, why? Just a moment. First, I have to do this. So this was my effort got wasted. No problem. I will draw it once more. Yeah. Now, can somebody tell me where is the source voltage here? Where is the source voltage here? See, if this voltage and this voltage and this voltage, if these three voltages were added, you would have gotten the source voltage. Like in the previous case, these three voltages have been added, so you got the source voltage. Okay, here also, these three voltages, this one, this one, this one were added, so you got the source voltage. Oh my God, what did I do here? No, correct. Oh, sorry, I was confused with it. Yeah, correct. So tell me here, what will happen? When you add these three voltages, only this one will remain. So isn't this the source voltage? This itself will be the source voltage. Okay, fine. So here, the source voltage and the current are in same phase. Okay. And circuit is in resonance. So when circuit is in resonance, so this is done. I have discussed the three cases. So LCR circuit, I will repeat this third part because it is very important. LCR circuit in resonance. you know that if XC equal to XL, then the LCR circuit is said to be in resonance. Is said to be in resonance. You have already learnt it. So what is the condition for resonance? You know the condition. X equal to XL. Still, I will write what is the condition for resonance. Condition for resonance. Now, actually, this word resonance sometimes confuses students a lot. You know why? Because this word resonance is used in many different cases. In chemistry, sometimes resonance word is used. In wave chapter, resonance word is used. Here in LCR circuit, resonance word is used, and they all mean differently. Like here in LCR circuit, the resonance that we are studying, this is a different type of resonance. This is a different resonance. So condition for resonance is Xc equal to XL. Now Xc can be written as 1 by omega C and XL is equal to omega L. We know it very well. So from here we can say omega square is equal to 1 by LC, or rather omega is equal to 1 by root LC. Now this omega I will put omega naught, or frequency will be how much? Well, if omega is 1 by root LC, then frequency will be 1 by 2 pi root LC. And this frequency I will call F in the subscript naught. Now, why am I saying it? Because, just a moment. Yeah. This particular omega is called resonant angular frequency. This is called resonant angular frequency. And of course, this is called resonant frequency. Now, you might have noticed that this omega 1 by root LC, we had already come to this omega in LC oscillatory circuit. You know, LC oscillatory circuit. Recently we studied in the electromagnetic induction chapter, in the previous chapter. In LC oscillatory circuit, what was the angular frequency? It was 1 by root LC only. But that omega and this are different, even though the values are same. This is frequency or angular frequency of AC source. Okay. Anyway, so if source frequency matches with this frequency, listen, if source frequency matches with this frequency, then automatically Xc and XL will become equal. Now, source frequency is 50 hertz in our practical day-to-day life. AC frequency is 50 hertz. So if that matches with this, you get this. Okay. One more thing. Here, LC circuit is in resonance we studied. And now one last thing. If LC circuit is in resonance, then if LCR circuit, sorry, not LC circuit, is in resonance, then what happens to the impedance? Then impedance is what? Impedance is simply R. This is because, see, in general, impedance is root over R square plus XC minus or XL minus XC whole square. So root over R square plus 0 square, because I'm saying that they cancel out each other. So impedance is R only. Okay, that's one thing. And second thing is that current and source voltage are in same phase. Not new, because I've already explained this. Okay, so that's it. That's it for the day. I'll explain this more tomorrow and we will solve problems tomorrow.